Hey, so welcome to BIM News. Uh, Here is the today's BIM News, and I've broken it up into sections. I may use this as a template, so I created this template. By the way, if this is the first BIM News video you've been to, this Notion board is available for anybody to check out. So be sure to just check out the description below, and then you can just click on the BIM News link, and it'll take you out here. And then from there, you can click on these different links for other BIM News weeks. Also, check out the Discord if you like. So I'm thinking about breaking it up into sections. These are the sections off the top of my head that I came up with, just with some of the content I had this week, but that's what I got. So to start off, we've got this article from Autodesk, and let me bring it over. So 3 mega trends. I think these are important trends. I don't really think any of this is new, but I do find that this article is pretty. It's got some interesting information. It also has some helpful links, I think. Like we've got this one here, creating a circular economy for the construction industry. I think this is really important, and there's a lot of space for improvement in how we use materials, how effective are we with waste management. They get into like the future of circular economy, new materials, construction methods, so all sorts of cool stuff. The data visibility, I think data is incredibly important. I've talked about data on this channel before. I think it's difficult, like building better data strategies and training teams on how to use data correctly could have a lasting positive impact through increased trust and transparency. I agree with that. I think it's definitely hard to identify the data within your firm, but then also figure out, okay, here's the data we have, here's the useful data, here's data that's not useful, but we need to tweak it or change it. Maybe here's a data point we need to track. I think there's a lot to think about. I'm a big proponent of like just giving people tools and then building stuff around that, growing it slowly over time. So you've got tools like Power BI that can immediately give you benefits and give you the ability, give designers a pretty low barrier into getting into data and using it. So if they've got data sources that they work with, then giving them the tools, looking at how people use these tools, and then developing your strategy around that. Collaboration without boundaries. I don't have anything else highlighted here. That's, I think, a really important thing from Autodesk. They've talked about it at their Autodesk universities. But a big thing that I thought of immediately when I saw collaboration without boundaries was I thought of Speckle. I don't know why. I just thought, oh, okay, that's a tool that integrates all these different formats. I guess I do know why, but I thought it was kind of cool. That was the first thing that popped in my mind. So I think that's a tool worth checking out for collaboration. I think that if that continues to grow and continues getting a community, that it can be in a really good spot to be that collaboration tool. I love it because it's open source, and that's just something you don't get with Autodesk. So anyways, interesting article. Again, you'll find it in the Notion. So on to the next topic. So this is the next article. It's Revit drafting views. They're kind of talking about some of the drawbacks of detail views and drafting views, and they share an example down here. So worth checking out. Also, I find it cool that I run into like new blogs every once in a while, and this is one of the ones I've never seen before. It looks like they're still working on a few things because there's nothing in these tabs. But if you go to the Home tab, you'll find some pretty recent stuff. So you can see November, and it seems like they're posting pretty often. So it might be a cool blog to check out and to follow. It looks like they're trying to grow it or work on it. So, but anyways, I thought it was pretty cool. So there it is. Hey, so last articles here. I'm going to just briefly go over some of these, and then we'll talk about this one here, this computational design one. So real quick, what's new in Revit 2023.1? I thought this was helpful because it's like 3 minutes. Autodesk created it, but if you want to get a quick overview, kind of watch it, see what's important to you, and then take further research. That's kind of what I'm doing with it. So I just watched it. Saw a number of updates that I know that are going to be helpful for me, and then I'll dig into those a bit further when I get 2023. The other article here is by Andrew Milbourne. This is related to doors. I only added this here because I know there's folks that work at architectural firms that would benefit from this, that may find this more interesting than I did. I don't work with doors, but what I liked about this post was this diagram that he used to outline like what a door family, but for me, more generally, like, I could use this same diagram to outline maybe a complicated family that I want to document for somebody that has to use it or manage it or whatever. It was a thought, but it could be used, I think, to describe families or to be added to documentation. So I liked it for that reason, but it's there if you want to check it out. So, or the post, Andrew's post. The last article is here. This is not an article, but I think I still have this open. This is Python libraries and frameworks. This stood out to me because I've used a number of these, like Beautiful Soup and Selenium. I have not used some of these others, and that's where I'm like, oh man, I wish I knew some of these. Maybe they would have helped me depending on what they did. So maybe you're in game development and how game development can support AEC related items, then you may want to check out some of these others. Like I knew about Panda 3D, but I've not played with some of these other libraries before. So anyways, sharing that to just hopefully for you to learn something new or find something that helps you out. The computational design related topic today is this article here. I like this article quite a bit. So beyond automation, change how to think with computational design. They start off down here saying, however, it is not just about automating traditional processes or tedious activities. It's about shifting the way we think in design. That stood out to me because a lot of computational designers only ever talk about automating something either in Grasshopper or Dynamo. And I don't know if that's really all that maybe that's like the more important, maybe it's the cool practical application of computational design, but it just seems like it's talked about more than anything else. And so it's nice to see them talking about that it's not just automating stuff. So a change in mindset rather than the simple application of digital tools to an existing design or process. That stood out to me because I did that survey, or you guys, some of you may not be aware, but I put a survey out on LinkedIn. Not a survey, but a poll or whatever they call it in LinkedIn. And I asked if, what would make a good computational designer in common, if there's anything else that you guys think that I didn't have on this list. One was like, the answer, or the selections were computational geometry, design processes, tools, and then like programming languages. And most people chose like tools and programming languages. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, it goes back to like why a lot of folks will only talk about the automation side of things, because they're using the tools and they're automating stuff with existing processes, but not thinking about the overall mindset or what all this means aside from just automation. Propagation based. So I've got this computational parametric notebook, and I've got all sorts of notes in here. And before I skim down to the bottom, computational thinking. This is a presentation by Janetta Wing, and I think you would enjoy watching it. It's pretty cool, and if you just Google it, you'll be able to find it pretty quickly. So I'll click on resources real quick, and then books, and then Elements of Parametric Design. That's a book I've been reading, and they mentioned propagation based and some other parametric systems, and those are things I'm still learning. But I thought if anybody else is interested in computational design, that stood out to me as something I don't know, but I want to learn more about this. So that's why I highlighted it. This down here, I was looking at it and I think it makes sense. So we've got computational thinking, which shows that algorithmic design or generative design is related to computational thinking, a shift in how you think. So along with emergence-based, so output of non-predictable output. So generating a variety of outputs, not sure what the optimal output may be. And then I thought this was what it's kind of interesting to me, and I might be wrong in this, but I don't know if this makes total sense, because CAD, and the reason why I say this is because parametric design's up here, and then CAD is over here down at the bottom left, and the first CAD platform was a parametric tool, like software. So I don't know if CAD really goes down there. A lot of tools are in the bucket of CAD, but I don't know everything, and I'm still learning kind of what is computational design, what is parametric design, all of these different things. How do they all fit within each other? But that's what stood out to me, because I know one of the first CAD softwares was a parametric tool. So computational design challenges in practice. The only thing that stood out here to me was the book Super Users. And it's funny, I saw that, and I always think back when I read that book, is that they had mentioned in there about, and I can't remember who it was, but they talked about how being an innovator or being like a technologist within an AEC firm is a very lonely position, because you usually feel like you're alone working on these things. And then they had pretty much, she had said, is a good indicator. Very little attention is given to the actors and drivers of AEC's digital transformation. Now, I'm fortunate enough to work at a firm that supports folks like that and also encourages teamwork between everybody, and we all kind of listen and help each other. But I've had experience. I've seen other folks that work at firms that try to push computational design, try to push digital transformation, and they kind of live just in silos, constantly trying to push this stuff, but not getting a lot of momentum. So, and it's hard because it's like it's new. What is computational design? A lot of folks don't even know what that is. They don't know what the mindset is or the tools. I'm still learning it, and a firm is shifting all of this. You're trying to get a firm to shift all of this effort into using some more of these skills, and that's sometimes hard. That's really hard to do. You've got to win over people, you've got to encourage people, and you've got to continue building relationships and trying to create that change. So anyways, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but this is I think this is an interesting book because I love it for the fact that it's just a wide range of perspectives, all sorts of people from all sorts of different firms share. Like Randy interviewed a whole bunch of different people, and they all share kind of their own experiences at their firms, and that's what I really love about that book. Anyways, that's all I've got for this one. I know it was kind of long, but I really liked this article. I thought it was worth checking out, and yeah, that's what I got for this week.